My name is Sandra Moreau, and I am a medically retired police sergeant and trainer. I decided that I was going to be a police officer as I was growing up, and started taking college classes, got enamored with the profession, ended up working at the State Police Academy as an instructor about 3 years into my full-time work, and spent about 18 years working in law enforcement before my in-the-line-of-duty injuries robbed me of the rest of my career.
Hi, my name's Nick Valdez. I work at St. Charles. I'm an EMT there. Kind of grew up in a broken home, alcohol, child abuse, a lot of not fun things to go through as a young man. And then kind of just found my way going through life and doing all the bad things.
Hi, I'm Lynn. I was Air Force for 6 years, security forces, primarily law enforcement, at Edwards Air Force Base. One deployment under my belt to Qatar in the beginning of COVID in 2020.
I was teaching a class called Confrontational Simulation, or Red Man training. A couple of deputies picked me up during the training. I was portraying the role of the threat, and they really kind of pile drive me on top of my head on some very hard concrete floors. I suffered some events and incidents and injuries that ruined my body and messed with my psyche and my mental health wellness, and that kind of doubled down on the childhood trauma that I took into the career with me, and the result was messy. But I'm still here.
Thank you. I'm glad you're here.
When I joined the military in May of 2017, I did basic military training for the Air Force, went to my tech school for my specialty duty, and from there, I was supposed to have a sponsor at my first duty station. And unfortunately, that sponsor decided to take advantage of me. And I didn't have anybody there with me at the base. I didn't in process yet, so I didn't have anybody's numbers. Not the chaplain, not dispatch. I didn't have anybody. And unfortunately, it was a fellow security forces member. And I felt betrayed because here's this person that's trying to help me and support me through my transition at my first duty station, just to be taken advantage of. It was hard for me to trust anybody, friends, family, coworkers, leadership, everyone. And I was in my fight mode of, I just have to get the mission done. So I completed my 6 years with that same mindset. The hardest or darkest time in my life was just in these past couple of years. That was when I was in the middle of a divorce. I lost my job. I had moved to another state where I didn't have family. My friends were my coworkers, so it was hard to separate that, and I was lost and alone. I had asked my friends to hold on to my weapons for me because I did have thoughts of suicide, and I didn't want to leave just yet, but I knew I needed a community around me to help me.
I got introduced to a lot of things at a young age that kind of set me off some of the not greatest paths in life. Got into drinking, drugs to kind of cope with some of the stuff I was going through and kind of dealing with childhood trauma. The hardest and darkest time in my life was quite a few, but most recently is tried to commit suicide for the third time, and I had a plan. Had a loaded 45 in my mouth, and I happened to call my best friend who isn't here anymore. He FaceTimed me and made sure that we stayed on the phone until he could come get to me to help. Oh man. My brother Ronnie, man. Ron was a great man. He'd give the shirt off your back if you needed it. genuine, no filter, an asshole, but a lovable one. We were both Washington boys, rooted for the same sports teams. We were two guys cut from the same cloth. I can't say enough about that man, and because of him, I'm here today. Ended up taking his life, which really impacted me. Thank you, brother, from the bottom of my heart, for believing in me when I couldn't. For supporting me and being my legs when they weren't working. I love you, brother.
The depression and anxiety from not being able to take care of my children, from losing my life's work, was so overwhelming. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to deal with it, but it was winning. I wanted to leave. I wanted to leave this earth, but I couldn't because I was a mom. Thank God. But I remember I was living in Portland at the time, and I had to drive over a very high bridge called the Fremont Bridge. I don't know, it's probably 800 feet above the Willamette River. And I was going to see a therapist. And there was something in my head, and it wasn't from me, it was like an external source saying, just stop the car and jump over. Just stop the car and jump over the bridge. And it was winning. It was winning. And it was not anything I could control. It was not anything I could talk myself out of. And so I just started praying. And I wasn't a strong Christian then, but I just started praying. And I just focused on the broken white line on the road. There's probably 3 or 4 lanes there. And I just focused on that white line on the road and just drove my car over that white line. I didn't know what was around me. I didn't know what was in front of me or behind me. But somehow I got off that bridge and I got to my appointment. But my kids nearly lost their mom that day. The whitewater rafting trip was amazing. We were treated like kings and queens on that rafting trip. It was absolutely wonderful. And nobody tried to get in my brain. There was some talk about what it means to have complex post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTS as they called it. And I had a huge awakening on that rafting trip, a big awakening. For the first time, no matter how many counselors I'd seen, no matter how many antidepressants I'd taken, I was with people who got it. I was with people who spoke a language that none of those counselors could speak. The guides, the organizers, the volunteers that were there, and all of the other people that were there as first responders and military vets understood the spirit that comes with those who are out there serving. And until you're with your own community, you really feel very, very isolated. So the community that I had through Warrior Impact was expanded with these people I met through Save a Warrior. And I was really in a blessed place. It's helped me become the best mom and caretaker for my parents, and in some ways the best community member I've ever been in my whole life.
My cohort number is 0251, and my biggest aha moment was sitting in the big seat. I typically hold space for other people, but never for myself. So when I was the last to go, I released what doesn't belong to me, and it was pretty life-changing. Some of my demons were how I keep rescuing other people, because my first memory was when I was 4 years old. My mom had picked up myself and my 3 siblings from school, and we had come home to my dad, who had just had surgery on his neck. And when we came home, his neck was gushing out blood. And so since then, I've been helping my family, helping my friends, making sure that I'm a safe place for everyone around me, because I didn't want people to feel alone. I didn't recognize that I have not healed from that portion of myself yet. And I was like, oh, that's why I'm here. That's why I can't feel love like I wanted to, or give love like I wanted to. Truly, leaving my demons there in sentimental objects or conversations, and finally being able to move forward.
I was cohort 0263. My big aha moment was right after pulling out the spike. Day 2. It all just hit me like a ton of bricks right in the face. Didn't even realize what I was really doing until it all just clicked. Pulling out the spike is a process. You just let go of what was holding you down, what your big hang-up was, the thing under the thing, and you let go and set yourself free. Honestly, I've never felt this great in my life, and it was one of the biggest blessings that I've ever received in my life, and just being willing to commit and trust the process and believe that there was going to be help for me, and that there was other brothers and sisters that have been through this or even had a similar story close to mine or almost the same thing, opened so many new doors to me that had always been closed, and I'm a new man today because of it, and I'm very thankful. I want to reach out to all the men and women that are struggling in life and nothing's working in their life and everything is broken and falling apart and you feel hopeless and lost. There's a place for you. There's a community with open arms that are holding space for you and will be there for you every step of the way.
If you're a warrior and struggling, come find us. Let us know. The first step is admitting it to yourself, and you're not alone in this, and we'll help guide you to live your life the way you want to live it and be true to yourself while doing it. For victims of sexual assault like myself, it is possible to move on, and it's possible to find another future romantic partner. And I'm living proof of that.
And so I'm here today to share my story because I want people to know that there is help and there's community, which to me was the saving grace. That's the heart of it right there. That's the hope diamond in my world. That saved me from that isolation.
I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Whatever you can do to help save somebody's life, because it literally just helped save mine. Give whatever you can.
For people who want to support Warrior Impact, it changes lives. How often do people have an actual opportunity to save a human being, to make them a better person?
Thank you for your continued support. Not only did you help save me, but you saved this community, and you keep making this project possible. And we're going to save lives together.